Coming up on Mountain News at 6, we'll hear from Governor Andy Beshear about being a potential vice presidential candidate in an interview with WYMT. And the two people charged in a Perry County triple shooting appear in court for a preliminary hearing.
And we have a couple of flood advisories on the map. We'll talk about those in a few minutes.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
There are conflicting reports today on how high or even if Governor Andy Beshear is on a short list of possible vice presidential candidates to run with likely Democratic nominee Kamala Harris. I spoke with Governor Beshear today about the unprecedented period in national politics we are seeing right now. WYMT's Caroline Mueller has a preview of Monday's Issues and Answers.
The American people are left with many questions after President Joe Biden announced he is dropping out of the 2024 presidential race. It appears now that Vice President Kamala Harris will likely replace him at the top of the ticket, and she has received support from many Democratic leaders, including Governor Andy Beshear.
What I've seen is there is significant energy around her, and I think she is going to give Democrats a very good opportunity to win this election and has what it takes to be president.
While Governor Beshear says his conversations with Harris have only been about her seeking the presidency and gaining his support, political analysts say he could be a top pick for her running mate.
Listen, it's flattering, but it ought to be flattering to Kentucky, and everybody of any party ought to feel good that they're looking at us. The country is looking at us and saying we need to be more like that.
As of now, he says he plans to finish his second term in office and will continue to put Kentuckians first.
Well, if I thought that there was a place that would put me in a room to put that next 400 or 500 job factory, in a place like Eastern Kentucky in your viewing area, that's something I'd at least have to consider, because I've seen the good that we can do, and I want to keep that going.
He says after this election, it is time for Americans to stop being so polarized.
For everything from the car you drive to the beer you drink, you're supposed to pick a side. The things that matter most, the things that I work on every day, aren't partisan at all. Your job, your health care, the roads and bridges you drive, the schools you drop your kids off at, your public safety, those aren't red. They're not blue, they're not Democrat, they're not Republican.
The governor is urging voters to put their party aside and vote for who they believe is the best choice for our country. Caroline Mueller, WYMT Mountain News.
Tomorrow night, President Biden will address the nation on his decision to drop out of the race. I also talked to Governor Beshear today about the upcoming second anniversary of the 2022 flood. You can watch Issues and Answers Monday night at 7 here on WYMT. Republican Senator Rand Paul made several stops around the state yesterday talking about Kentucky tourism. He was also asked about the possibility of Governor Beshear ending up on the Democratic ticket.
Chance of me voting for Kamala Harris, even with an Andy Beshear, I can tell you that. I'd be happy to see someone new in the governor's mansion, but no, I'm not a big fan of Governor Beshear. During the COVID overreaction, the idea that he would try to police our churches, police our restaurants, police our hotels, there was no science behind any of that, but there was a casual disregard for our religious freedom and our individual liberty, and so I've never been a fan of him because of his reaction on COVID.
Senator Paul still has not officially endorsed the Republican presidential nominee either, former President Trump. Attorney General Russell Coleman is urging the U.S. Supreme Court to immediately block the Biden-Harris administration's plan to shut down fossil fuel power plants. In May, Coleman joined the coalition to protect affordable and reliable energy from the administration's what he calls green agenda. Now, here's what Coleman said in a statement, quote, "The Biden-Harris administration's extreme attack on Kentucky's affordable and reliable energy would force families to pay billions just to increase the chances that we sit in the dark. This is not serious policy making, but another of Washington's ideological assaults on middle America. We are fighting all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court to protect Kentucky families and our Commonwealth's competitive edge." Here's what Senate President and Clay County native Robert Stivers had to say about this. Quote, Kentucky coal helped build our nation, and the Commonwealth has always been at the forefront of America's energy production. The Supreme Court has ruled against this type of regulatory overreach before, and we hope it will again, to ensure affordable and reliable energy for Kentuckians. 2 Perry Countyans are facing charges after a shooting in Polly Hollow, where 2 were killed and 1 was critically hurt. Treston Combs and Emily Collins appeared in Perry District Court today. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox was in the courtroom and has an update.
Defendants Treston Combs and Emily Collins arrived for a preliminary hearing. A detective testified with what he said was evidence following the shooting. Police said Combs began shooting at a crowd in what he called a strip job party. Combs is facing multiple charges, including murder. After the suspects were arrested, the detective said he further questioned Collins about her involvement. Collins was originally charged with complicity to murder because she drove Combs to the scene and away from the scene. Upon questioning, the detective said Collins told him she did not know Combs was going to shoot anyone. She also reportedly told him Combs threatened to kill her if she told anyone what happened. After further discussion, Collins' charge was changed to facilitate murder. Both defendants will soon have a bond hearing. In Perry County, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Treston Combs will appear in Perry District Court for a bond hearing on July 30th. Emily Collins will be there for a bond hearing on August 6th. Collins' defense attorney, Seth Combs, told WYMT she is saddened by the loss of lives and disputes having knowledge of what happened until, quote, it was too late, end quote. 2 people are now behind bars after deputies say they were transporting drugs. The Wayne County Sheriff's Office says deputies pulled over Misty Rose and Justin Watts in the Wayne County part of Huntington. Investigators say they were able to determine that the 2 of them were transporting drugs and confiscated meth, heroin, and pills. Police in Laurel County are asking for help finding a suspect in connection with a theft. Here's a picture of the person they're looking for. According to the Laurel County Sheriff's Office, the theft happened at a business in the Lilly area yesterday. They are also looking for this vehicle. If you have any information, contact the Sheriff's Office at 606-864-6600. A portion of Main Street in downtown Hazard was blocked off for much of the day, but it is now open, we understand. This is the reason why it was blocked. Officials say an old cast iron pipe ruptured. At one time, as you can see, water was shooting into the air next to the grand outdoor space. Crews spent much of the day making repairs, and some had been without water.
All right, we have a couple of flood advisories to talk about this evening. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the maps. We have the one for McCreary and Whitley County. Again, McCreary and Whitley County. This goes into effect until 8:45 this evening. The other one over towards the Pulaski and Rockcastle County. This goes into effect until 7:45 this evening. This includes the Wellhope, the Hansford, as well as the Van Hook area and across portions of Highway 1249. Here's the latest with live pinpoint Doppler radar. You can see that line of showers and thunderstorms pushing its way through eastern Kentucky, which is the reason why that flood advisory is in effect for the respective areas. We take a look at the past several hours. You can see how it just really started to get its act together. So we'll keep the rain and chances in the forecast as we go throughout the evening and overnight hours. Numbers for today. How about the upper 70s and low 80s? We made it to 79 in Hazard, 78 Manchester, 82 Somerset, 82 in Middlesboro. And right now we're seeing temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, 77 in Hazard, 76 London. Harlan is at 81. 80 is the current temperature in Grundy. I'll have your first alert forecast coming up in a few minutes. Steve.
Eric, thanks. This weekend will mark the 2nd anniversary of the devastating and deadly eastern Kentucky flood. More than 40 people died back in July 2022. The American Psychiatric Association says symptoms of extreme weather post-traumatic stress disorder could range from mild stress to intense anxiety and depression.
Feeling down, feeling tired, sleeping more, maybe a shorter temper or shorter fuse. Those can be kind of telltale signs for someone that's experiencing some depression or just, stress from remembering what happened. Just
heard several people today say how the recent rain, the storms the other night made them nervous. ARH and other behavioral help officials are encouraging those struggling with the second anniversary of the flooding that it is okay not to be okay, and asking for help with mental health struggles is just another way to showcase Kentuckians' resilience.
All right, here's a look at the weather headlines for tonight. Thunderstorm chances will continue for your Wednesday. We'll see a weak cold front swing through, but the upper 80s, they're making a comeback, and I'll tell you when in a few minutes.
And city, county, and state officials gathered to celebrate the grand opening of the Perry County Ambulance Authority's new location.